Coming up on Falcon Weekly, developing news. At least 13 people are dead after a mass shooting at the Washington, D.C. Navy Yard. Hear from witnesses that survived the shooting.
And the new rain today. See what Montevallo students are saying about this history-making pageant.
And fighting the floodwaters. See how people in Colorado are struggling to survive record-breaking flooding. Falcon Weekly starts now. Hello and welcome to Falcon Weekly. I'm Lauren Altaffer.
And I'm Amanda Metcalf. Thanks so much for joining us. Chaos at the nation's capital today after shots were fired at the Naval Yard in Washington, D.C. Police are currently searching for one of the suspects. He's described as a tall, black male dressed in olive-colored military-style clothing.
Law enforcement killed a second suspect, believed to be the gunman, at the Navy Yard. Reporter Sharon Travis has the latest developments from Washington.
And some have been killed. So we are confronting yet another mass shooting.
There have been conflicting reports about the number of shooters, but authorities say at least one gunman fired several shots inside the headquarters for the Naval Sea Systems Command at the Navy Yard complex in southeast Washington, D.C. Police say at least a dozen people were killed and others were wounded. Mayor Vincent Gray said nobody knows yet what was behind the shooting.
We have no known motive at this stage. There were people who asked earlier if this was a terrorist event. We don't have any reason to think that at this stage, but we're continuing that investigation to try to determine what the motive is.
Some of the witnesses to the shooting described the scene.
I was in the cafeteria getting breakfast, and I had just paid for my breakfast, and I heard 3 shots. And then the young lady that was with me, we were like, "What's that?" And I said, "It's somebody shooting," because it didn't sound like something falling on the floor.
We were just standing here maybe 3 feet away having a conversation, and then we heard 2 more gunshots, and he went down, and that's when I ran.
In Washington, I'm Shannon Travis reporting.
The Washington FBI office confirmed that the dead suspect was Aaron Alexis, a 34-year-old military contractor and former Navy enlistee from Texas.
Turning now to the ongoing crisis in Syria, UN inspectors confirmed the use of chemical weapons in last month's attack in Syria. In a 38-page report, the UN confirms that sarin gas was used in the attack on a suburb of Damascus. According to the Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, the chemical weapon was used on a large scale.
Through their entire life cycle, from receipt to deposition, either here in the headquarters for further examination or further on to a designated laboratory. We were really considered.
The UN mission has not completed its investigation of other possible uses of chemical weapons.
A major anniversary this past week in the city of Birmingham gathered to remember the 4 lives lost in 16th Street bombing 50 years ago. Celebrations around the city began last week, including the unveiling of a new statue dedicated to the 4 little girls who were killed in the bomb blast. On Sunday, hundreds of people packed the pews at the 16th Street Baptist Church for the memorial service. Speakers from around the country, including Reverend Jesse Jackson, Attorney Eric Holder, and former State Representative Condoleezza Rice.
Montevallo will hold its own events to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the bombing. The University Office of Student and Academic Affairs, along with the Department of Communication, will host Constitution Day to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing. All students are invited to attend. The documentary Four Little Girls will be screened the 17th and 18th at 3 p.m. each day in the Comer Auditorium.
Coming up, the votes are in and the SGA has a new leader. Hear from the new elected president.
And there's a new Miss America. Hear how students are reacting to the first Indian American Miss America. Those stories and more when Falcon Weekly returns. Welcome back to Falcon Weekly.
Montevallo students are enjoying new dining options on campus this year. A ribbon cutting was held last Wednesday to celebrate Falcon Foods, Montevallo's new dining service program. After the end of a 10-year contract with Sodexo, Montevallo has chosen Cartwell's as its new food service company. One major change this year in the newly updated dining space in Anna Arvin Dining Hall. With many students expressing dissatisfaction with Sodexo in the past, University President Dr. John Stewart believes the new relationship with Cartwell's will encourage the students to stay on campus for their meals.
I don't think I've heard maybe one or two.
The cafeteria isn't the only new thing on campus. Cartwell's Falcon Foods program has also replaced World of Wings with Moe's Grill in the Student Union building and have added Olo, sushi, and takeouts cuisine to Carmichael's library. I have no idea.
Did you know one person donating blood can save up to 3 lives? Jennifer Corona joins us live in the newsroom with more information about the upcoming blood drive on campus. Jennifer?
The American Red Cross will be on campus for a blood drive Tuesday the 17th and Wednesday the 18th from 11:30 to 4:30. Tuesday, the bloodmobile will be set up outside the cafeteria, and Wednesday, they will be set up in Farmer. Here's some things to remember before you give blood from campus nurse Kim Moon. Urges students to make an appointment that leaves at least 1 hour for the entire donation process. Be sure to bring a photo ID and a list of any medications you take regularly. This is Jennifer Corona, live for Falcon Weekly.
Thanks, Jennifer. In other campus news, the SGA has a new president. Rachel Swakowski won the election runoff against Eddie Davis. She says her experience with the SGA will help her adjust to the new position.
Miss New York, Nina Davalori, is our new Miss America and became the first Indian American to win the crown. Miss Kansas also became the first contestant to have visible tattoos.
Because usually she's white or black, and if it's any kind of diversity, it's always black, you know?
That's awesome. The fact that, it's not just pretty blonde girls anymore.
I think it actually kind of represents America, that we are a melting pot of people from different nations.
I think Miss America contestants should show who they really are, so having stuff like tattoos show personality.
When it's something like a contest like that, because you're showing, it's an elegant contest, so any bodily tattoos should at least be covered.
Tattoos are beautiful. I think it's a way of self-expression and art. It's your body and you do what you want as long as there's not like all over your face or anything, but I think that's good.
Touch ID Center.
Andrew also tells us that for the most part, UM students seem to like how Miss America is evolving to include all Americans.
Coming up on Falcon Weekly, Apple's announcement of its new fingerprint reading feature on the new iPhone has the tech world talking. Find out if this type of technology is putting your security at risk.
And record-setting rainfall is still causing massive flooding in Colorado. Hear why rescuers say they've never seen anything like this before. These stories and more coming up.
Welcome back to Falcon Weekly.
Brett Bell joins us to discuss new products from Apple and Bionym on how they may improve security. Brett, what can we expect?
Apple has announced a new fingerprint scanner as security for the iPhone 5S. There are many questions from consumers about how iPhone fingerprints. Some questions people are asking include, is it safe from hackers, and will fingerprints be stored on a government database? Margaret Conley has the answers.
Lifting prints look easy. Security researcher Mark Rogers warns that it depends on how the software giant implements the technology.
Apple clearly has thought about this because the data is not going to be stored in the cloud, so there isn't going to be a giant database of lots of people's sensitive information that will be a prize target of hackers or enemy state actors.
He says fingerprinting is convenient for users and will be a boost to the mobile industry.
It could open up a really huge universe of opportunities.
New biotech mapping opportunities are already in the making. Vascular technology uses infrared light to reflect patterns of blood vessels. And iris recognition developed by companies like MorphoTrust.
So the goggles will go ahead and automatically look at the irises.
Eye mapping is said to be faster and more accurate.
You have fingers that are 1 in like 64 billion, and an iris's accuracy is you have 1 in about 1 trillion.
Margaret Conley, CNN, New York.
With new technology, there is always a certain amount of concern. Many experts are concerned that only using fingerprints creates strong security risks. In a related story, Bionym is also developing new tech for security and convenience. The NIMI is a wristband designed to access smart devices through the heartbeat. NIMI looks like a basic leather wristband, but what it promises is much more. The latest commercial shows NIMI as a futuristic device that can do everything from logging into an iPad to unlocking your car with a wave of your wrist. Only time will tell how much power this device will truly have. Apple Fingerprints and Bionym NIMI both use biometrics, which is a way of verifying identity through physical or behavioral characteristics. Lauren, Amanda, thoughts on these new technologies?
Well, I don't know about y'all, but I'm a bit of a nerd and I'm excited.
I am too. I think it sounds really interesting.
Well, that's this week's tech.
Turning now to the weather, 6 people are dead and more than 800 remain unaccounted for in the historic Colorado floods. Rescue efforts continue to... I'm sorry, I lost my place.
Just keep reading. Just pick up where it is.
Say events.
Events in history hit Boulder County and its surrounding areas. National Guard members have been airlifting those stranded out of the floodwaters. With the majority of roadways washed away, large military helicopters have become the main rescue vehicles, saving over 2,000 people and 500 pets. Sometimes nothing can be done as continued rain grounded rescue helicopters and left 15 National Guard members stranded on high ground overnight, stopping rescue efforts for the moment. Law officials in the area are calling this the most devastating flood in years.
The prompter's not in the right spot. Okay.
In the last 4 days, the county has been drenched by 14 inches of rain, 9 times the average rainfall amount for the month of September.
Now it's time for a check of our Montebello forecast.
Falcon Weekly's Jordan Wales joins us with a look at this week's weather.
All right, and I'll take you over and show you the rest of the weather graphic. It's not here. There it is. The high for this week, or for today, is 90, and it's going to continue out for the rest of that week, ending with about 85. The lowest of the lows are going to be about 66 tonight. So for the rest of the week, we have it mostly warm, mostly sunny, except expect a few rain showers this weekend.
Thanks, Jordan. The soccer and volleyball seasons are well underway on campus.
Heather Buckner joins us now for a look ahead at sports.
Hey guys, the Falcons hit the road for the weekend. We'll catch you up on the action after the break. Sports is next. Welcome back to Falcon Weekly. I'm Heather Buckner with a look at this week's sports. Following their first loss of the season, the men's soccer team traveled north to take on the UAH Chargers. A few minutes into the game, the Falcons put their ball in their own net, giving the Chargers the lead. The rest of the game would follow suit in a 3-0 loss. The Falcons will try to break their 2-game losing streak on Wednesday at Lincoln Memorial before they begin conference play on September 21st against UNC Pembroke. With a 3-2 record at the start of the season, the volleyball team looked to keep up their momentum going in back-to-back matches on Saturday. The Falcons defeated Augusta State 3-0 for their first conference win, followed immediately by a 3-0 victory against Pfeiffer. The Falcons' next match will be Tuesday night against the Columbus State Cougars. As part of the Faculty and Staff Appreciation Night, the team will honor Montevallo faculty and staff members who have made an impact on their careers before the first serve. The men's and women's golf teams are back home this week as they host the Full Moon Invitational. The tournament began today at the Timberland Golf Course in Calera and continues through Wednesday. Be sure to keep up with the Campus Athletics webpage for updates and look for Falcon Fever live updates from the tournament. That's a look at this week's sports. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Heather. And that's all the time we have for this week's show. Thank you so much for joining us.
For more UN news, be sure to check out the Falcon News Network blog. The web address is on your screen. We'll see you again next week.